Yo, this is what creatine's supposed to look like when it's actually mixed in the water. Look, there's like 10 grams in here and you can't even fucking tell.
No, I like my creatine dirty,
Ew.
filthy.
I think I have all of my drinks ready. Oh wait, shit, I didn't shake it. Kind of like, I also will like mix juice in with my creatine. Um,
Sorry, dude.
what, did it look like I was
My-
jerking or
My,
something?
my view, dude. I'm gonna clip that.
Don't you fucking dare.
I won't be able to post that one on the normal social medias. I'll make a different account on a different website for that clip.
Yeah, fucking OnlyFans or some shit.
That was. I like look up. I'm like, what the heck?
That looks better.
I didn't know this is what he meant when he had some good ideas.
Let's just start with this. Just fucking.
Oh gosh.
Moment of silence for all of our lost homies in the gym who couldn't make it this far.
Make it how far? Like,
I said shut the fuck up. Just kidding.
oh,
No, all the homies that like have trained with us. But
oh shoot. Yeah, R.I.P. man.
R.I.P.
There's been hundreds.
Honestly, I've got homies that are still lifting, thank God. That wall is so
Come
fucked
back.
up.
They need to come back to the light.
Dude, I don't even like wearing a shirt, man. Fuck this. It's lame. Maybe I should change the shirt. Bro, so was it you or me or was it Shane that first lit their hands on fire with the hand sanitizer? Because I
Yeah.
remember when Shane was in your room and we like put the hand sanitizer on his fucking hands and we lit it on fire and he like immediately freaked out. He was like, "Oh shit!" and he like tried to like put it out. But I can't remember if we had done it first or not.
At first, I'm like, I think it was me, but now I want to say I think it was him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't
'Cause
remember.
that kid was
My,
ballsy.
my
That
memory
kid
is
was like-
the worst.
Wasn't he Black Mist?
Oh, fudge, dude. Oh, no.
We're not talking about that one.
Dude, I'm trying to remember how that even started. Where did
He
the
started
mists
that.
all start?
He started that shit.
No, because we created an account for Red Mist. Why did we...
We did that because somebody was Black Mist and we were trying to figure out who that was.
But what was the whole concept behind it? I'm trying to remember.
He was like a vigilante or whatever. Vigilante. And he was like, I don't know, he's claiming to be like the neighborhood vigilante or some shit. And so we were like, we gotta figure out who this is. Like, let's go fight this kid. Like, let's go fight this person. And so
Oh,
we
I
created...
remember, dude. I remember. What didn't we like? And then we created the Red Mist, and then it was just like a word battle, and then before you know it, dude, we're planning a huge fight.
Yeah.
And then I remember getting pumped one day. I'm like, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight.
Yeah. And we were like, let's meet at, like, I think it was like Manchester Park or some shit.
And then what mist did he create?
He was Black Mist.
Oh, was he?
He was Black
Wasn't there
Mist.
another one, like a third one that like popped in, like, hi
Yeah,
guys.
my brother created the one that was called "Oh My God, Like Mist."
Oh god.
I'm gonna turn off this light real quick. 'Cause I don't like that. Let's see if this is better.
The mist. Holy
The
crap, man.
mists. Oh my god, I look white as fuck.
That's how I feel with my curtains open over here.
Oh man, fuck that stupid cord. Oh my god, like mist. Oh my god.
We gotta bring it back. Bring
No,
back
fuck
Red
no.
Mist.
God no. That was terrible.
I'm
You
back,
like it.
boys. I wish it was easier to recover like old accounts.
Oh, dude, I know. I feel bad.
Like just for old memories, because I mean, you do stuff as a kid, but then you delete them, and like, oh, it'd be cool to recover that crap and
Like, I don't think I would recover a Kodotan. Actually, you know what? I might.
just live in the memories, dude.
I
Oh, I
probably.
wouldn't say I wouldn't make it public, but
Yeah, I would
just
not make that shit.
personal use.
We had uploaded what like 54 videos by the time we had quit. Is that right? Dude, we're original YouTubers if you think about it. We just deleted all of our shit. That's crazy. We've been
The
YouTubing.
only
since-
reason we're not big is consistency, lack of consistency.
Yeah, that's true.
We would
but-
honestly, if we would have kept at it, that's the key to life, dude. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you stick at it, you're gonna grow regardless, and thus you're gonna become successful.
That's freaking true.
But
I
we
might
never
actually-
we never stuck with anything.
We did
That's
Kodotans.
for failures.
I don't regret a single failure. I don't regret a single fucking one.
Nah, it was all good. Good learning stuff.
Okay, I need a different shirt. This one's fucking weird. Alright. Should I wear this one? Or is that too fucking.
Oh.
Alright, I'll just go with the blue.
Oh.
Doesn't fucking drown me out. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to. Can I be wardrobe changing?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna do a try on haul in front of you. Just kidding, I don't fucking have a try on.
Should I do this one or this one? The
It's
flower
alright.
one or
This one? Or this one? I just don't wear cotton anymore. Like cotton t-shirts, I can't fucking do it. This one's so much better. Ah. I look appropriate.
you never look appropriate.
I do. I don't know if I should put you closer or further away. I like it. Ah. Yeah, that'll work. No, dude, fuck that.
Like, do we freeze or are you being dumb? Is that your creatine?
Yeah, I mixed juice. What is this one? Mango, hibiscus, herbal tea. It's not bad, but with creatine HCl, it tastes like shit. Have you tried HCl? So
No.
there's like creatine monohydrate, which is like the cleanest form, and you typically have to take like 5 grams of that when you're on that. But with creatine HCl, you typically only take like 1.5 grams. There's 10 grams of 10 grams of creatine monohydrate in this, and 1 gram of creatine HCl. HCl is already bonded to a salt, I believe, so it just dissolves easily. But I mix it into my monohydrate to make that shit dissolve as well. Make it dissolve better.
No, I like just the monohydrate because there's just more studies and
There's a lot more.
it's what I've learned about and what I trust, and I don't stray from it. I'm a loyal boy.
You're a loyal monohydrate boy. I've tested them all. I've done HCl, AKG, pre-alkaline. There was another one that I tried. They're all just bonded to something to help them dissolve better. Besides monohydrate. Monohydrate's just creatine in its like raw fucking form. So that's why it doesn't dissolve very well.
I realize I need to be more. I need to try more things. I need to be more. I'm pretty. Like I said, I'm loyal and like, you know, because for example, like my digital audio workstation, my DAW, my FL Studio that I use for my music production. Like, there's so many people that suggest moving on to other ones and yada yada, and I see the benefits because I watch people produce on other ones. But I'm too loyal.
You're too married to the.
Like, yeah, then I get on calisthenics and I'm loyal, and I create a workout and I'm loyal, and I just stick with it for so long. So
That's good.
I'm trying to. It's good, but it's not. I'm trying to
Yeah.
be more flexible, more open to other things.
That's kinky.
Keep my mind open.
Your leg's really cute. All right, I got my coffee, my water, my creatine. I think I'm set. We're having another moment of silence for all the fallen homies. Fucking losers.
Oh gosh. Should we name them? Let's name them by name.
Yeah, let's call them
Call
out.
them
Let's
out.
fucking put them on blast, dude.
Dude, I could call out. Well, there's been so many with you and me, and then me personally, dude. It's just like, oh man, I can't even name them all.
We have the OG one that we lost. Let's see.
Oh gee, man.
I saw something on his profile a while back that I thought was funny. It was like, let's go do some shit, or it was like his bio, I think. It was like, or go work out. And I was like, motherfucker, you don't work out. Maybe he does. He does the elliptical. I can't shit on the elliptical. That's not fair. Elliptical, you can go hard on. It's just weird because I feel like it fucks up your running. Have you been on an elliptical?
No, I don't really touch them.
Dude, the few times that I've used an elliptical, because it's like very exaggerated running. Like your legs are moving up and down pretty like just super fucking exaggerated. And I think I did one once for like 10 minutes, but then when I got off, I was like walking high knees, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I look like such a weirdo. I don't like the elliptical, but I mean, I respect people who use it because it is cardio.
Yeah, I was like talking with someone today, and what I realized is, I'm always rooting for someone to go harder and stuff. And so though, for those, that only hit the gym 3 days a week, I'm like, oh no, go 6 or whatever. And to each his own. Obviously 3 days a week is perfectly fine. And you got to realize if you're even hitting the gym at all on a routine basis, you're already in like the top 1%.
Yeah.
I even looked at studies, and I'm like, it talks about saying like, because I was curious, like how many people actually go to the gym, and it was saying like these high numbers, like 30%. I'm like, dude, no way. No way, dude. I'm like, they have to be lower than that. So I believe it's just the people that consistently hit the gym and are actually in it for a long term. I believe it's just your top 1% if you're in that group.
I can believe that 30% of people have a gym membership. I can believe that.
And see, that's what I even started looking into, but it didn't line up.
Dude,
studies are biased.
You want to know something fucking disgusting that I heard this last week?
What?
Dude, do you know the obesity rate? Not the overweight rate in America. Do you know the obesity rate in America? Overweight's like 69% now.
I could tell you about a month ago when I took my CPT.
Oh, yeah?
I had it memorized. I forgot, though.
It's 42.4% of Americans are obese now. Not overweight, obese.
I think the study was like 1 out of every 3 was obese. And then obviously there was a bigger, well, I'm sure it's bigger now based on whenever that was made, but I'm sure, and then the overweight was just even way more than that, like 2 out of every 3 kind of.
Overweight, though, I feel like that doesn't count, because I remember when I was in high school, and I was technically considered overweight for my height.
You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was bulking, obviously I was overweight pretty much my whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And one cool thing I learned about that, or just reading my book that I'm reading, because it talks about BMI and how BMI, like, it shows this really muscular guy and then it shows this really fat guy, and like these 2 guys had the same BMI. Mm-hmm. It's height to waist ratio. Have you heard of that?
Yes.
So they're saying that's a more accurate way of kind of identifying whether you're overweight and stuff. Basically, your waist should be half your height, and if you're going like over that, then that's when you're overweight. And I measured it, and I'm a tiny bit over my.
I'm gonna find out right now what I am.
But
Wait,
I feel like it's not exactly, because obviously, I was like an inch or 2 above, but I feel like it's a pretty good measurement because, yeah, obviously, if your like waist circumference is 3/4 your height, I think that's an obvious factor that you're overweight.
Yeah.
But if it's near the half, I feel like you're in good. Because obviously, I think I have a decent physique, and
So I'm 74 inches tall. Let's divide that by. Are you freaking kidding me?
37.
What? 37?
Yeah, can you not do that in your head?
Oh my god, why did I don't know why I have to use a calculator for that shit. I definitely can do that. So 37, that would be considered overweight.
If you want to
Dude,
be around 37 in the waist,
I'm under that by like a lot. Well, not a lot. I'm like 32 right now.
so I think, yeah, you should be around that. And then but if you're not close to that, then I think if you're not close to it one way, obviously, I think you're underweight, but overweight.
It's so
the other.
interesting.
I thought that was really cool because obviously BMI, especially when you're looking into being fit and stuff, you don't want to.
Dude, I didn't know that. So
It just sucks getting on the scale and my scale's like overweight. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm just muscular.
you're massive. You're so huge. Oh, dude, I was gonna ask you, not to be too personal. Do you still go to church or no?
I try to. I mean, the problem is my job. Like,
Yeah.
I'm scheduled to work every other Sunday, and so it just makes it complicated at times. But like for example, when I'm on nights, I keep my night schedule, so I work like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. And so when on my days off, I stay up until 7 a.m. and church is, in the morning on Sunday, and so I sleep every day from like 7 a.m. to like 4 p.m. And when I'm on nights, yeah, I didn't go for the past 3 months, but I went Sunday, and I'm on day shifts now, so I'm gonna try to go to church, be a good boy.
Good boy.
Church is good. Church is good if you make
I
it good.
respect it. I think it's important, especially for community and understanding. Like, oh my god! I literally went to my notes. The moment I said that, I pulled up this note that says the title is "The Power of Community." That's fucking crazy. That's wild.
Well,
What did I even write? Oh wow, that's actually a really good note. Holy shit. Um, good job, Tanner. Yeah, I understand like the.
that's you tooting your own horn. Toot toot.
I know. Toot, toot. No, dude, that's actually crazy that I opened because I was gonna go to a different note. I pulled up my notes because I had something else written that I wanted to share with you, but I like pulled up. The moment I pulled it up, it went to this. Oh my gosh, dude, this is really good actually. I don't think I'll share this one because I'd have to read it through again. Because I don't want to. That's nuts. Where's the other one though that I wanted to share with you? Oh my god, man, I've got so many good ones. Just because I've been writing so much. Oof, I actually don't know if this is still good. I don't know if I even still agree with this 100%, but I wrote this a while ago. In July? Wait, what month is it? Is it October? It's October. I used to go to church, right? Used to go to church.
You church?
No, I know. Not really. Fuck church. I used to when I was younger. I don't like the idea of it anymore. I had this one really good pastor at one point in time when I went to this non-denominational Christian church that I really enjoyed, just because he wasn't so like. Because remember when I think it was before your mission, like we went to all those different churches. I went to I think it was Jehovah's Witness one, and we were like scared shitless. We were like, this is terrifying. This is scary. Just because they kept using that line, we are slaves or whatever. And not to diss on their religion, but to diss on their religion, they're like, we're slaves to Christ. We're slaves to Christ. And I was like, I don't fucking like that.
Well, like that was the one I was the most comfortable in for at the start. Well, no, no,
Oh,
no. It was weird. I mean, like everyone here, all like everyone's friendly, like kind of family. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is all right. This is because every church has a different vibe, you know.
yeah.
I remember going to the Catholic church and sitting there, and I'm like, dude, everyone's like, I feel like you can't open your mouth or you're gonna like go to hell or something.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Um, but
Catholic
yeah,
church.
I went in the Jehovah's Witness. I felt comfortable and like everyone's family, and they said some interesting things. But I was like, okay, it's like not. It's like I could get behind some of this, but and then afterwards, everyone comes up to greet us, right? The second we told them, we're from another church and what other church we're from, they all just instantly like,
Yeah.
stay away from us.
Get away from me. That's so fun. Yeah, I'd say my
Not to diss
spiritual
on them.
belief.
I know there's some good. I've met really good Jehovah's Witnesses.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I think it's a really good religion.
I'm more. I don't want to be killed by them, but I'll just say it. Catholics scare me the most, especially Catholic women. They're like, "Let's get married now." It's like I just met you 5 seconds ago.
I remember dating I dated a Catholic girl once. I don't know if
Did
you
you
remember
really?
that. Yeah.
Did you ever tell me about this?
Um, every time I was with her, you were there.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh yeah! And you had me break up with her for you.
I was young. I
Yeah,
was
we were
young.
young.
So I don't know if that counts as, official dating. I wouldn't consider it a serious relationship, but
No, dude, we
it
were
was
way
it was still interesting because her view on things, like she was kind of wild, but at the same time, she's like, I'm Catholic, so I got to be
Yeah, that's
Catholic. I was like, okay.
okay.
And I was, dude, dude, I miss being back then. I was just in it for the ride, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like, I didn't really care for girls that much, I was just in it for the fun. It was so good. So good back then.
That's the point of being young and like dating and whatnot. Which like I look back and I'm like, thank God I didn't have any kids with any of the women that I dated, because that probably would have made my life fucking hell. But looking back, I don't regret a single relationship that I've ever been in, or any of the decisions I made in any of the relationships I've been in. And I can say that just because like I don't regret anything. I think regret is a terrible thing to hold, and I think it's like active suffering for something that you can't control.
Yeah.
So that's just my viewpoint on it. But yeah, I don't regret a single fucking one of those relationships. I definitely dated a lot of women.
Yeah, I think as long as you don't dive into children or marriage like crazily, I feel like you could really enjoy past relationships and appreciate them for what they are. But
Yeah.
I do miss dating back in the day when it was all fun and games, and it's just not the same now because like obviously I'm looking for something long term,
Mhm.
and it's just I have all these things that I'm looking for, and it's just it's just tedious. It's like I don't know what to compare it to. I'm hunted down something, and it's not just like go for fun, A girl pops up, it's
Yeah.
like, hey, let's see what this is like. It's the girl pops up, you're evaluating everything she says, everything she does, and nope,
Yeah.
moving on, going on, try one for a little, nope.
It's
And it's just-
definitely a numbers game,
Yeah, it's true.
just like sales. It's just
It's the
numbers
same,
game.
yeah, same thing as sales.
That's what I can say honestly. It's like because I have this belief, or this like thing that I say all the time to people, and who are either looking or in relationships, and I'm like, if you're a guy and you have a lot of different like skills and things that you're able to do, and you've built an incredible amount of like personal value to yourself, the number one thing you can find everywhere is stress. Now, Andrew Tate talks about this too. It's like if you're like of a high value man and you have a lot of abilities and you're very skilled and whatnot, the one thing you can find everywhere is stress. The second thing you can find everywhere is sex. Those are like the two easiest things. So then what actually becomes valuable? And what I've found is like the one thing that like makes a relationship truly valuable, like to me, is if she can bring me peace. Like my last relationship was fucking hell, dude. That bitch was the craziest, most painful motherfucker. And I told her all the time, I was like, I hate this relationship. I hate this relationship. Like, I hate it. It's so stressful. And now, like, my current relationship, most peaceful, best, most amazing relationship I've ever experienced in my life, like, hands down. Like, the calmest, most peaceful relationship. And I wouldn't trade that for shit, man. I wouldn't trade that for a fucking thing. And I think a lot of guys think that it's like, oh, like, they're looking for a lot of dumb, superficial things. Also, like, granted, she works out with me a lot, and like the majority of women that I've dated couldn't keep up with that for shit. Like, they were like, today she was out benching the dude next to us. This morning when we went to the gym, I was loving that shit. He was benching 210s, like 210 plates, and she was benching a 25 plate. And I was like, keep fucking going, babe. This guy looks like a pussy. Like, keep going. But I'd say a lot of guys look for like the dumb, superficial shit, and then they get into the relationship and they find like nothing else is cohesive and nothing else works, and they're just like miserable and super stressed, and they like try to make shit work. And it's incredibly hard to find the one that brings you an immense amount of peace. Like, I've met a ton of women in my life, and I've dated a number of women, and the one thing that like I'm now like, holy shit, I will never ever settle for less than this, and this is the one thing I want forever, is peace, dude. Especially after 2022.
I think that's one of the main things that men are honestly deep inside looking for. I feel like, because I'm sure on the outside, I mean, as all of us men, you know, we want a girl that's really beautiful, you know, and a girl that's yada yada. But when it all comes down to it, I feel like it's just peace that men want. Because if you look at it, like, what is a man really going to be? They're going to be, grinding. Like, you're going to be in the gym grinding. You're going to be at work grinding. And you're going to be, like, every time you're not with her, you're going to be working hard. I mean, that's the beauty of being a man, and that's what I think a man should do. And but, like, when you come home, and ideally you'll come home and she'll be there, right? And I feel like she would bring you that peace and relaxation and break you need from your grind, you know, that recovery. She's your recovery. That's what I feel like.
She also makes me laugh more than any girl ever has. That's for sure. That's some, like, cherry shit right there, bro. Girl that can make me laugh. A lot of girls are just fucking annoying. Like,
well, is it annoying funny? Laugh at them.
I mean, kind of, I guess so. Not really. I feel like I don't know. Fuck that. My last relationship, that bitch was annoying, and, like, not to be a dick, but she was really annoying. Mainly because, like, it was just dumb shit. It was, like, really dumb shit. I'd like, all right, I'm gonna go to Costco, go get some toilet paper or whatever, and I'm driving to Costco. I'm like 10 minutes there, and the bitch calls me, and she's like, where are you at? And I'm like, I'm driving to Costco. She's like, are you sure? I'm like, yep.
Dude, that's where, dude, I hate that type of thing. That's where you're just like, no, I'm actually with some other chick. See you later. Dude, like, honestly, anytime, I'm just sick of it, just from past experiences and stuff, dude. Anytime anyone throws that crap at me, dude, it's like, I'm going to feed into their fear. I don't know, whatever you want to give it. It's like, if they really have all these suspicions, dude, I'll give it to them. It's like, sure. And dude, it's so weird. I've heard some things about weird, I think it would go into the law of attraction, because you look at, and I've heard where people have persons in the relationship that are like that, and they're always suspicious. Like, who are you with? What are you doing? And always suspicious that you're with someone. And I've heard that kind of acts as a law of attraction and makes that person want to be with someone else. Want to,
yeah.
You know?
Dude,
like, they already suspect me of it.
I can agree with that 100%. Because when she would accuse me of that shit, I'm like, you know what? yeah, I'm gonna go find another bitch. Like,
Well,
it's
and then again,
fucking
obviously, if
annoying.
she's doing that, it's annoying to you and makes you want to leave even more. So it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I haven't had a good relationship in a while, sadly. But I enjoy relationships I've had where you could just completely trust the person, and like where people have secrets are no good, dude. And
Well, dude.
like where phones, it's like where you can't share your phone with the person. Like I don't know what you're doing. Like why are you hiding? I don't know if this is me, but I loved just being when like I had a girlfriend and she just take my phone and do whatever. I felt like involved with her, and it felt good to be like equal with her and a part of her, and I'm sharing my life with her.
Mhm.
And I see all these people, and they can't give their phone to the other person because they got secrets or whatever it is.
Porn.
Like I love sharing my life. I want to share my life with someone, but I don't know.
Guys that slap that fucking porn button. Bunch of pussies.
Dude, porn's the killer of mankind, dude. I'll tell you that.
Dude, I was thinking about this last night actually. I had this thought and I was like, and it's a little dark. I'm gonna be honest with you, it's a pretty fucking dark thought. But I enjoyed having this thought. And this may reveal a very dark side of me and I don't give a fuck, whatever. Men who cannot control their carnal and sexual urges will bow to the men that can. Like,
It's a good quote.
it's crazy how easy it is for me to command and tell another man what to do because I know they watch porn. And I know that they just are susceptible to like whatever anybody commands them to do. And it's crazy because like there are so many dudes in society, which I fucking hate that line. I hate that line. The girls be like, "Oh, all guys watch porn," and it's like you've dated some shitty dudes. Like you've dated some, because that's like a guy's excuse to continue watching. It's like, "Oh, all dudes do it." Like, no, bro. Like just you, and you're trying to get away with it. Because I genuinely, truly, especially after reading Think and Grow Rich, I genuinely believe that men who are addicted to porn will bow to the commands and will of the men who are not. Like the
Well, there's a
men.
whole broader concept behind that because it's the idea that you don't fall into temptation. You don't fall into traps, essentially.
Yeah.
And obviously, the people that don't fall into traps are going to be stronger and better and going to be the leaders and winners overall,
Yeah.
right? And I don't know if it's just me, but there's something like when you're able to withstand like a carnal desire or just like, yeah, either like a lustful thought or the temptation to get mad or there's so many examples, but if you're able to like withstand that, there's just like or like you
There's
feel
so much power.
in the morning, like
Yeah.
you feel like crap, and you jump in that cold shower, or like in the afternoon, I need to work out, I don't feel like it, I'm gonna work out, and just like
Mhm.
the of beating something. I mean, I don't know why I don't know if every man doesn't feel the same way I do, but it just feels so good just to like to beat that and win that. It's like I won this battle, you know?
Dude, it's conquering. And that's
Yeah.
dude, that's the reward feeling of it is like I conquered it, like I win, I have the power. And I think that for me, I don't know, that's just like what it is like if you if like if I always maintain that power, then in a way like I always have a sense of power over other men that can't control that. Like if their urges, if they don't have the willpower to like say no to themselves, then they will not say no to what I tell them to do. And I know that sounds fucking crazy. That sounds dark as shit, and I'm probably reciting a line from my book. But it's I don't know, because you know that like dudes who are addicted to porn, they have less confidence. Like they have less of an ability to walk up to a woman and be like, "Hey, like I think you're really cool," or like, "Just wanted to meet you," or whatever. They have so much less confidence, and any guy can speak like from that place anecdotally. Like they know that like when they were yerking their meat, they're like, I don't fucking feel like doing whatever. I don't feel like going to the gym. I don't feel like talking to a girl. I don't feel like whatever. But when you're not, you're like, I can do anything. Like I can say no to me. I can say no to everybody else. And like then I can also like, I don't know. It's just like this. it gives you a sense of like an incredible amount of power. I can control it. I can
Well,
command it.
it's a
I can tell it.
challenge, and it's a feat, and it makes you stronger. Like I think, talking about this, I'm thinking about all these guys that rage on our videos when they disagree with something. They can't keep it in. They just always have to say something like, "Oh, this is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life."
Those are the guys
And
that dig in.
I didn't like replying to those, and I honestly didn't know what to do. And then you and me talk about it and how they're literally giving us views and such. But the
You got
the
that.
act of controlling your emotions is a powerful act. If you could control your emotions, you could conquer the world, I feel like, because you're able to withstand, like I said before, withstand any temptation and challenge. Like what I really love is at my work I'm able to be in a leadership position, and it's really awesome to be in a challenge to like the challenge of correction. It's a huge challenge, and because you have to tell someone something negative in a positive way for them to use that and become better. And that's like, I don't, anyone who has ever experienced it, it's like one of the biggest challenges in the world. And so it's kind of the same concept, I think, to me, is just like, let's say someone comments negative on one of my videos or something, and how am I able to respond to that to get results that I want to? No one
Yeah.
thinks about that. They think about, oh, I'm mad, so how am I going to win? How am I going to show them I'm better? Is that your goal? What is
Yeah.
your goal? Be better than him. Be stronger than that. Like, control your emotions. What can you use? How can you benefit from this? Because you always can. And there's always a way to do it. And just the idea of, like, doing that and becoming a winner over at the end. And it's not about beating anyone else. It really isn't. It's about beating yourself, and beating these challenges that are put in your way. I always enjoy it. It's a fun deal, but it's hard because, like I said, like when these guys are saying these crap, and sometimes it's like extremely offensive. But being
Oh,
able to take it and control your emotions and handle it the right way, it's really, I really enjoy it.
yeah, dude. When we talked about that this last week, I was like, bro, just like get hard for these negative comments. Don't kill them. Don't decapitate these motherfuckers. Just enjoy it. Like enjoy it for good fucking reason too. I don't know. And for dude, honestly, for me, a lot of it stems, I feel like, from my childhood. It's like I never gave a shit what my parents told me to do. Like I never gave a fuck. And you know that, like
Yeah,
you were always so like, oh
you
my
probably
god,
should have gave a little bit more, but okay.
I probably should. No, dude, like my mom was so emotionally absent, like she didn't give a shit. And like I knew that the rules weren't real, especially like just because they were so flexible. Like, I'll be home at 9, and I never came home at 9, and nothing happened. So it's like, all right, so this is not a real rule. I just had that. Used to cause so many fucking problems. No, I feel like that's another thing too is knowing when authority doesn't make sense or like the rules don't actually apply. And I'm not saying like don't touch like when your parents are like, hey, don't touch the burner, that's gonna hurt. Like obviously, that's a viable thing, like that makes sense. But in reality, like you're gonna end up touching the burner. Like every kid's gonna end up like slapping that burner, being like, I don't give a shit. And they're like, oh damn, that did hurt. And then your mom's like, be home at 9, and then you never come home at 9, nothing happens, and then you move out at 17, and you're like, well, that was a bullshit rule. Like, that was
Gosh.
dumb.
Dude, it really makes me think to like when I was doing my NASA, my CPT, like one thing I really learned from that was information, and how information relates to motivation, and
Yes.
that's been a really cool thought. And it stuck with me from ever since I done that, because yeah, there's the two ways of learning, right? You either learn from what others people say, or you learn from doing it yourself. So to the whole analogy of like touching the burner, um, Like some people, I feel like some people can't. You can't tell them just, hey, it will burn you if you touch it.
Yeah.
Some people have to touch it, you know, and I talk about a lot with this about raising kids because I feel like it's the biggest, you know, analogy to it. But some people have to touch the burner. But I feel like there is certain ways that you can inform them that is applied to their personality or whatever. But it's all information.
Dude,
Information creates motivation.
Yeah. This reminds me of a thought I actually had this last week. Is like when I have kids, like, so the burner thing is an interesting one because like I feel like every kid's, when it comes to actually getting like physically burned, they're going to do it. Every child has to experience being physically burned. I don't give a fuck who you are. Like, when we were,
I don't know if I agree with that.
well,
Because
dude,
you look at experiments. You look, for example, the fly experiment. You got a bunch of flies that you put in a jar, right?
Mhm.
Or fleas. I think it was fleas. And they're bouncing up, and they can't bounce out of the jar because of the lid, right?
Uh-huh.
And then they take the lid off after a while, and they don't bounce out of the lid area, right? And then they reproduce, and they still have like more fleas and stuff. And the fleas still, they don't bounce out of the jar, even though there's no lid. I think the same thing applies. I feel like if I had a kid, maybe a 3-year-old, and even if it wasn't a burn, if it was like a fake thing like that, I feel like I'd touch like, and then they wouldn't touch the thing. Like maybe I did that a few times, you know?
Yeah, but at one point in their life, they're gonna do it. Even if it's not immediately, even if it's not soon, we all get physically burned at some point, in some form or
Okay,
another.
sure, but unintentionally. I'm saying a child intentionally touching a burner, I think it could be avoided.
Yeah, okay, yes, I agree with that. And so this is what I was going to with this thought is the reason. So like as a kid, we all watched me. I had to get burned through everything I fucking did. Everything I did, I was like, I'm gonna learn the hard way. Like I don't give a shit what our parents say.
Why are we using past tense verbs?
No, like I always like you. No, I always had to learn the hard way. And I realized the reason I was like that was because nobody actually explained this shit to me. Like you said, information.
Information.
I'm not going to lie to my kids. Like, when my kids are like, Dad, what's marijuana? I'm going to be like, this is exactly what it is. This is what it does to your brain. This is what it causes. This is what you experience when you're on it. This is why I chose to quit it. This is what, like, all of my experiences were with it. And this is why I would advise against it. Whereas my parents, when I was like, what's marijuana? Like, I heard about this in school. And they're like, don't you ever do it. It's bad for you. It's a drug. Like, that's it. And I was like,
well, it's like the whole thing. I think it goes back to my whole flea analogy, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, how do you know? Because you look at so many things and looking into the, health and nutrition. That's like the biggest I feel like it is. Because, for example, like growing up, I was told, don't eat butter. You know, butter's bad. Eat margarine, right? And I remember growing up and like I heard a lot of things and then how margarine isn't actually good for you, you know, and butter is actually more healthier. And so it's like the whole flea thing is just, how do you know? Just because you're being told something, you know, why? To explain the why. And so like growing up, you know, you're told so many things by so many people, your parents and your educators, and like, hey, kids, don't do drugs, or like don't have sex, and you're just like, why? You know, maybe they'll say don't have sex, or you'll have kids when you don't want to, and you're like, but
and then you're
that's
like,
not actually how it works. And you know, you'll like, and so you really have to sit down, like not only with children, you know, we're using children as an example, but I feel like anyone, like giving that information, you have to actually sit down and explain it, man. Like, okay, so lay it out. Here's actually how it is, you know?
Yeah.
Growing up. And I feel like the best parents do that. They sit down with their children and say, let's talk about this. And with everything that they maybe don't want their children diving into. It's like, okay, I don't want you going out past 9 p.m. Let me explain this, you know?
Yeah.
Past 9 p.m., there's a lot of yada, 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 you know? Explain all the reasons. What's your intentions? Why do you care about that? And I feel like the kid would understand your intentions and then also understand what they want out of the situation. Like, you know what? They care about me, And I actually don't want to go out after hearing that because of the yada yada, the reasons they gave me, you know. But instead, people like, don't go after 10. That's my rule, you know.
Yeah.
They just lay down the law and it's like, no, let's explain it.
And I feel like my parents should have been honest about a lot of things. I will be completely transparent and honest with my kids. I know a lot of people are like, "No, you're gonna think differently when you're like a parent." It's like, no, dude. I feel like transparency would have helped me, because like if my parents had told me about weed honestly, I probably would have avoided it. But because they didn't, I was like, "What is this shit?" They just said it was a drug and that it's bad for me and that I'm gonna end up doing methamphetamine. But I've got all of these friends that are smoking weed and they're not doing that shit. So like, what is actually going on? And I didn't know, and I had to find out. And so I did it, and then I did it for years, and I was like, what is going on? Why did they lie to me? And like, dude, my dad, to this day, still can't tell me the truth about him drinking when he was younger. He's like, I never touched alcohol. I never had a sip of alcohol in my life. And I knew it's bullshit, because my grandpa came over, like, one time, and we're all sitting and chilling, and I was like, Grandpa, you got any good stories about my dad? He's like, oh, I got so many. Like, he used to get drunk and steal stop signs and bring them home. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and my dad was like, oh, no, 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 like, freak out. And I was like, no, you should have told me. Like, you should have told me. Like, even those crazy stories. Because, like, we had friends growing up that were like, yeah, my dad, like, drank and he did all of this crazy stuff. And those friends didn't drink. And it's because their parents were honest with them about what they did and what they'd like, the mistakes they had made on the alcohol and the decisions that they had like made and the regrets and the stuff that like, and the pains and stuff. Like they were super honest about the pains. And those friends didn't drink. I never saw those friends touch alcohol. My parents weren't honest about it. Like my dad wasn't honest about it. Just like, oh no, it's bad for you. I've never touched alcohol in my life. And it's like with my kids, I'm gonna be 100% transparent. Like, hey, this is why alcohol sucks for the body. This is what it does. This is what I experienced. When and if you ever touch it, this is what you're going to experience. This is what to expect. So that it takes away the novelty of the actual experience. Because when you have it and nobody's explained it to you, it's now novel. It's now like, wow, this is a new experience. I'm drunk. Nobody explained that this was going to happen. And so you keep going into it trying to understand that. Whereas somebody who already like knows, like, oh, this is what happens, this is what's going on in the body, like this, it's converting into this poison, and so this is what's happening in your body, and it's causing you to feel that intoxicated feeling. You'll feel dizzy, lightheaded sometimes. Yeah. Like, if my parents had explained that, I probably wouldn't have drank, because they never fucking told me. I'm like, ooh, I'm over at my buddy Eric's house. Like, your mom's got an alcohol cabinet. Let's fucking mix things up and test this out.
Shoot, you know what I think? I think one of the main reasons for this is the authoritarian role that parents play. I think it disrupts the relationship they have with their children. I think I could apply it a lot with, compare it a lot, you know, with my job, because I work in a jail and there's inmates. And I was having this conversation the other day with someone. It's just like, how do you work with those people? You know, they're just all, you know, druggies and murderers and sex offenders. Like, how do you actually work with those people? They're just such bad people. And it's been on my mind lately. It's just like, these people are no different than you and I. I'm sorry to tell you, the only difference between me and them is they got caught.
Yeah,
I guarantee you there's people walking all among us that have things that they could be put away for, that they could be brought to jail for. We all have mistakes. We're all mess ups. We're all learning, right? And so comparing that, you know, that whole idea is just, we're equals, is the same thing applies to children. It's, you know, what's different between, you know, me as a deputy and those inmates is just the roles we're in, just where we are, you know. But we're both people. We're both learning. And the same thing applies with parents and children, you know. Parents, I feel like, try too hard to be that leader, that person that never messed up, that example, and that. But when really, I think if you're a parent, you look as your kid as a friend, you know, obviously you have a role to play as a parent. But you need to look as that kid as also a human. And I think the best families I've seen are where the parents actually treat their children like friends, you know, and actually can go and hang out with their children. That's so insane for some of us. That idea is like parents hanging out with their kids. What? And I just really see that as, if you as a parent, you have a relationship with your kids, just a proper relationship where, yes, I'm a parent and they're my kid, but we're both humans and I can have a conversation with them. Because you look at how you talk with your friends, I'm going to share my opinions with you of what I disagree with what you're doing, and I'm going to share my ideas and why I should have those ideas and why I care about how you act with those things. And so I think that's the main thing with parents after just talking about this and thinking is just that authoritarian roles can be dangerous.
Yeah.
Going back to my job, I mean, that's where it gets dangerous. That's obviously where bad things happens in correctional facilities, is when the authoritarian role gets abused, is when the deputy is seeing themselves as superior to the inmate. The inmates don't like that. That's where they see that stuff. That's where the fights happen. That's where the riots happen. That's where all the bad things happen. But by equalizing those roles, you have a lot less of that stuff, and it's just a better environment for everyone.
Yeah. Because there's that classic parent line that's like, wait, why can't I do that? And the parent's like, because I'm your parent. I'm the parent. Like, that's why. Because I'm your mother, I don't have to tell you why. And then you immediately, in your mind, you're like, that's a flawed system. That doesn't make sense. Fuck you. That's what I thought all the time when my mother was like, because I'm your mother and I told you so. And it's like, I'm going to break this rule as fast as possible. Like, as soon as I can, I'm going to break this rule. And I hated that shit whenever parents would be like, because I'm your parent and I told you. And it's like, I don't care who you are. Like, I don't care if you gave birth to me. Because there was always that, I think it's a white woman's line. Like, I brought you into this world, I can take you out, right? Right? And
why do you have to add race into that?
Because I've never heard a Latino mother say that. It's always a white mother that's like, I brought you into this world, I can take you out. And I remember by the time I got turned 16, my mother used that line again at one point in time. She was like, I brought you into this world and I can take you out. And I was like, no, I could just as quickly take you out a lot faster. And she was like,
oh, gosh.
And she like kind of stopped.
Did he just threaten me?
And I was like, no, I could take you out quicker. And it's a flawed system. It doesn't make sense. And to be like, oh yeah, like don't do this because I'm the parent. Like you're not giving me, because like we won't retain information unless it's given value. So like when you're trying to remember something, like you're not going to remember somebody's name unless it becomes valuable to you. Unless you see value in that name. Like I need to know this name because I want to speak to X, Y, and Z. Like them again tomorrow, next week. So what's their name? This name, Kaito, whatever. And so, like as a kid, and you're trying to relay this information to your kid, you got to be like, hey, like, I don't recommend doing this, and this is why. Like, this is my experience around the people who have used it. This is my experience if I've used it, like whatever, and this is what it caused. Like these were the experiences. Now, if you ever find yourself in that position to use it or whatever, I would rather you be honest with me, tell me, so I can come get you. Because like. That's what one of our friends, I think it was Sabrina's parents, told her. And dude, I never heard of that girl ever touching alcohol. Ever. And
that's one of the examples I think of good parenting is those parents.
Yeah. Because her dad was always like, if you ever find yourself in that position, I would rather you call me so I can come get you and make sure you get home safe. I won't be mad. Just tell me and be honest.
And I think that's one of the hugest things. Is because I'm not saying she didn't make mistakes, but obviously she had a great outcome in life.
Yeah.
And just having the fact of being able to mess up and still talk to your parents and tell them that you messed up, having that relationship, I think, is the ideal goal because you're actually able to. Because, I think one of the saddest things is when you got a child who makes a mistake and isn't able to tell their parents.
Yes. Yes.
I think that's so sad.
Dude, and that's how I feel like I grew up. Is like when I made mistakes, I felt like I couldn't tell my parents. Because, like, my dad was always like, what the hell, you fucked up, like, you're such an idiot, whatever. And I'm like, I can't tell my dad shit. Like, I won't tell him anything. With my mother, it was like, I don't care, I'm just going to tell her, just because I don't care, and I know that she's just going to cry about it. I'm like, that's it. And so...
Yeah, parents got to realize that it's the comfort. I mean, I remember training for my job, and I had a point where I made a mistake. It wasn't a huge mistake, it was just a little mistake, but I had one leader that's like, what did you do? Tell me what you did. And I had no idea what I did. He's like, tell me what you did. What did you do wrong? You need to fix this. You're right. And that just made me like so uncomfortable. And I was there like, I don't know what I did. But then I had another leader that came up. He's like, come on, let's go fix this. He's like,
Yeah.
it's no problem. Let's just go handle this. It's not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
And just having just that whole the different attitudes were so major for me because just how I felt around those people, and now I knew that guy that was like, let's go handle this. I could rely on him. I could trust him, and I know I could tell him I messed up, and he wouldn't be mad. He'd be like, "That's no problem. Let's handle this. Let's fix this, and come
Dude.
with me." And so I think that's just the ideal parenting right there. Is if you could have that relationship where that kid can trust you like that.
Dude, and that's the key thing, is cultivating trust. Is if you reprimand them for the mistake, they don't trust you. Like, you don't trust any of your friends that would attack any choice you make. So if you got into music, let's talk about parents. Friends, doesn't matter. You get into a thing and they reprimand you for it. In a way, even if it's indirect, why are you still doing this? Why would you pursue music or whatever? You don't trust them with that thing now. You don't trust them with showing them that thing.
Exactly.
But with the friends that are like, yo, whether they think it's good or bad, they don't even, like, it doesn't matter. They're like, that's awesome. Even if it's a mistake, it's like, or whether it's a music or a mistake, the way they respond is key to that trust. Like,
Well, that's so true. Like for me personally, I mean, looking at me growing up, I have a lot of family that doesn't really support me in my music, you know. And I say like I make music, and you know they're like, oh, okay, like, so you're gonna keep your real job though, right? And I'm like, oh, it's like, but you know, obviously with you, like I've shown my music from the beginning, and obviously, dude, like looking back, dude, my music was crap. And so you were probably lying to me and be like, hey, yeah, dude, this is good stuff. But dude, I felt like I could share with you, and now my music like is way better because I continued with it because I had someone who's actually supportive, and I'm able to share it with you and continue with that, you know. And it's just that relationship, that proper response.
Dude, that's the coolest part. The coolest part is I get to experience the magic when it actually happens, real time. And dude, that is something that we miss out on a lot when we attack people's dreams. And see, like, I think about that all the time. Like, your family that attacked it, you don't share that with them. And like, even when the moment gets big, your first reaction is always going to be, I'm going to share this magic with the people that actually appreciate it when it happens. And like, yeah, going back, you did have some songs that I was like, this is iffy. I love this, and about it. This part I don't like. This, and I do love. But dude, this is fucking awesome. Keep fucking going. And now, like, you are creating absolute fucking magic. And I get to experience it real time. Like, and I know I do feel bad for the other people that don't get to experience it because they don't understand. Like, cultivating that trust that, like, even if your kid comes up to you and is like, I'm ready to do something, and you're like, that looks like shit. That kid will never draw again. And if they do, they will never show you. But if you're like, that's great, that's awesome. Their next drawing, they're like, look, I drew something. And it's like, it's still good. You know, you're getting better. Keep going. And then the next thing that's like starting to turn into a fucking masterpiece. And you're like, oh shit, like that's actually really good. And they're like, yeah. And so then they draw something or paint something new. And you're like, holy shit, you're getting good. And you get to actually experience the magic instead of being hidden from it when it's happening real time. And I think that's like one of the biggest things parents miss out on is like real magic happening real time that they're missing because they reprimanded either something they didn't agree with, whether they thought it was a mistake. It doesn't fucking matter. It's how you respond to like the actual like scenario, because it's like the Chinese farmer, the Taoist farmer. Have you heard of that story? The like maybe farmer. It's like, you haven't?
I don't think so.
Oh my god. Dan Bilzerian shares the story. I think it's in the book either The Power of Now or The Untethered Soul. It's one of those books. Because you never actually know what the outcome is. This essentially, I don't want to tell the story because it's kind of long, but essentially it's like you never actually know what the outcome is. Like, even when we think something bad is happening in our life, we don't know what the real outcome is. And so to like judge it harshly would be to go through an experience before it actually happens. So like, oh, something bad happens. I guess I can summarize the story. So there's this farmer, he gets this horse, and the village comes to him and is like, oh, you have this like amazing horse. You must be so excited and so happy that you were able to buy this horse. And he goes, maybe. And then the horse escapes and, you know, runs into the forest and disappears, and the whole village comes and is like, oh, you must be so sad you lost your horse. And he goes, maybe. And then the horse comes back with a bunch of wild horses, and he's able to get all of these horses in his pens. And so he's got all of these horses now. And the village comes to him and is like, "You must be so excited. You have all of these horses now for free." And he goes, "Maybe." And then one of his son goes out to try to break in one of these horses. And while he's trying to train the horse, he falls off and breaks his leg. And the village comes to him and is like, "Oh my gosh, like you must be so sad. Like your son got injured." And he goes, "Maybe." And then the army comes by because they're drafting all of the sons for the war, but they can't draft his son because he's injured. And so he gets to keep his son at home. And the whole village comes to him and is like, "You must be so happy that like your son got to stay home." And he goes, "Maybe." It's because you never actually know that it's good or bad, and it always swings back and forth. And just to judge like the actual experience when it's happening, you don't actually know what's happening. Like sometimes our biggest like losses in the moment, they seem like losses, but turn into like some of our biggest fucking gains. So like you're starting out with music really young, like so what if the music wasn't good? Like if you had judged it too early and been like, "Oh, this is terrible, why are you pursuing music?" You wouldn't have been able to experience like the end, like the actual music, like the real shit. And so it was just a maybe moment that your family was judging early on. It was like, oh, they were like, "Oh, how terrible, why are you pursuing this?" Whatever. Not, they didn't say like how terrible, but they were like, "Why?" Whatever. You know? It was a negative experience, but it was just a maybe. They didn't get to experience the end like magic of it. I think that's
I think the power of the law of attraction is just that's another thing that's just been on my mind lately. Just how powerful it is. I don't think people understand. They underestimate the power of negativity for one, and positivity. I think those are the two most powerful and contagious emotions. Because I've been testing this real time, and it's just crazy. Because there's things that we don't like to do, things that either we have to do, it's our responsibility to do, or things that are beneficial for us that we should be doing. And see, I've been testing this idea, and I won't go into specific examples, but just naming like a possible one is like cold showers. You know, it's like if you have someone or you're around people like, "Oh man, I gotta do my cold shower today." Is the person next to you gonna do cold showers? Absolutely not. But imagine you're in a group of guys, right? And all of them are like, "Dude, it's time for a cold shower. Let's go do it."
Yeah.
And you're going to go freaking do those cold showers with them. Because of that positivity, that it just connects it. The law of attraction, it just drags you along with it. And you're like, "Yes, I'm all for this." And you're hating every second of that cold shower. But you get out of that cold shower, you're like, "Yeah, I did it." It's just, I love it. And I love experimenting with this because it's just so cool. And it's just the same thing with negativity. If you want people away from something, associated with the negative. But if you want someone to go towards something associated with the positive, it's extremely powerful.
Dude, it's crazy. Oh, God, I love that. That's something that I do study heavily is law of attraction. Because I read all the books, The Secret, all of Neville Goddard's works. He's got a lot of books on it. It's like 4 or 5 books that I've read. Esther and Jerry Hicks, Ask and It Is Given. Conversations with God talks about it quite a bit. And that was a good book, dude.
It's an interesting one. It's an interesting read. There's a lot of crazy ideas in it and a lot of good ideas. I do like. I did enjoy it. It's a big one.
It is.
If you read all three.
Did you read all 3?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh damn. Okay. I got respect. I only read the first 2. I got so bored in the second one. I was like,
yeah, it kind of. I would recommend. I don't know if I'd recommend this other 2.
Yeah.
Because he teases like going pretty deep. Doesn't really go too deep. The first one is definitely where it's at, though.
Yeah. That's what I've gotten from a lot of people who have read all 3. They're like, first one's where it's at. Like, I recommended to my brother. He loved the first one. Then he read the other 2, and he's like, stay away from the other 2. Just read the first one. First one's the best. Hands down.
It's just really good ideas. You know, even if you think the book's completely trash, and that's like with any book. I think we talked about this before, dude. I think the best ones are the ones you disagree with.
Yeah.
Because just open your ideas, and I disagree with so much in that book, right? But just the ideas and actually making sense of the ideas and finding truth in the ideas. I think that's the best part. It's just like there's actually truth basically almost to everything he says, you know? Just you got to understand it, interpret it in your own terms, you know?
Mhm.
And you can apply that to your life. That's
Dude.
that's the best part of reading.
I tried getting my mother to read that book. She was like, I knew she didn't read it, but she lied to me. And she's like, I read it, and it's the work of Lucifer, like it's the devil's book. And I was like, the entire book is based around you have two decisions in life, love and fear. Those are the only two choices you have. And everything you do stems from these two choices. Your angry thoughts are stemming from fear. Your kind and happy thoughts, they all stem from love. And like the way you operate in life, you have this safety net of like, you can't fail. Like you can't really fail. You're going to have moments where like you make mistakes or doing things that people perceive as mistakes, but in the long run, you don't actually know the outcome. Like a lot of, dude, I think back to like when I got in trouble, like when I actually got in trouble with the law. I went to jail and shit. Fun story. I thought I broke your heart when I told you. When you came home from your mission, I was like, I gotta tell Adam this. Like, I gotta fucking tell him. Like, hey, man.
I'm like, I expected it.
No, I remember I genuinely was like, I'm about to break my homie's heart, like telling him this shit. And it's funny
I
because
don't remember. I don't remember what I thought.
Really? I remember telling you. I remember we were driving, we were in the car, and I was like, hey, man, there's something I gotta tell you. Got in trouble, I went to jail. And you were like, oh.
And I'm like, get me out of this car.
No,
Who am I in this car with?
You were super reasonable. You're like, well, like, you're not going back, are you? And I was like, no. Like, it was really quick. I went in, now I'm just like on probation or whatever, and you're like, okay. I'm like, you weren't like fucking mad or anything. You're just like, okay, yeah, whatever. Dude, I didn't tell my dad until like way later. Like he had no clue. He had no fucking clue.
I thought it was him that got you out, bailed you out.
No, dude, it was a guy I didn't even know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's a crazy story, man. It's a fucking wild story. Just some
I
dude
don't
didn't
even
know.
remember it.
Yeah, like I went in, and my girlfriend at the time and my homie Raymond, like they went around to everybody trying to get money to bail me out. They're like, we gotta get Tanner out, we gotta get Tanner out. So they went around and like they tried to get a bunch of friends like band together and try to like get money to like get me out. I was only in there for 3 days, dude. And dude, those 3 days I was like, I'm never fucking coming back. Like this is the worst fucking place ever. And that was Canyon County, like worst jail ever. Like hands down worst fucking jail probably. But especially
Yeah,
from everything
I
I've heard.
understand that, especially being in a law enforcement now. Like, I understand. Like, we all talk about Canyon County.
Dude, worst experience, hands down. And
You should come to my jail now.
yeah, it's like living in the
Yeah,
kingdom.
dude,
or some shit.
5-star on Google.
That's what I hear, dude. That's what I hear. It's like a 5-star hotel, dude. Canyon County was a shithole, man. And all it took for me was 3 days for me to be like, I'm never fucking up again. This is terrible. And when I was getting out, the bail bondsman showed up, and he's like, yeah, your boy Ray bailed you out. Your boy Ray bailed you out. And I was thinking, yeah, it's Raymond. It's Raymond, right? Like, your guy Ray bailed you out. All right, here, we're going to get you out or whatever. And I walk out. It's 4 in the morning. I walk out into the office. They check me out or whatever. They give me my fucking clothes, my shoes and stuff, my keys, whatnot, everything that I basically had on me at the time except for, the drugs. And I'm standing there, and this old dude in that like area, just this old guy, and he's like, Tanner? And I'm like, yeah? And he's like, your mother's waiting for you. And I was like, what the hell? And he's like, come on. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I get in this dude's truck, and I don't even know who this dude is. And this guy's name was Ray. He was Ray. It wasn't Raymond. So what had happened is they went around to everybody, and then they went to my mom. And they were like, Tanner's in jail, we gotta get him out. My mom's like, I know somebody who can get him out. And she had a friend or whatever that she knew, and he had made some interesting choices in his life prior, and so he knew the whole ins and outs of bail bonds and how it all works and whatnot. So he was able to go get it all set up for me before I even really got out and everything. And so when I got out, I ended up paying for it and everything. But he got it all set up, thank God. I didn't even know this fucking dude. Like, I didn't even know this guy. And I thought it was Raymond that bailed me out. Like, Raymond definitely helped me with so much of this shit. Like, he helped me with the attorney and whatnot. But those 3 days in, I was like, I'm never coming back to this fucking place. Like, never fucking up again. And at the time, it seemed like such a bad fucking thing. Like, it seemed like so terrible, so horrible, whatever. I don't regret it for 1 second. I don't regret that experience because it gave me such an appreciation for freedom and life. And when I got off probation, I'm now living in Hawaii. Like, fuck that. Like, I wasn't allowed to leave the state. I wasn't allowed to go anywhere, dude. I was like, you're staying in Idaho, you're stuck. And it was like, shit, I don't even like this place, man. And like, I was so stuck. I couldn't go anywhere. And I was like, fuck, man, like, I don't even want to be here. And that was hell, to be like legally bound to a place you didn't even like. And so when I was able to leave Idaho, when I got off probation, I was like, where do I want to go? And immediately I was like, let's cross that fucking ocean, man. Like, I can't leave the country yet. I mean, now I have my rights back and I have all my freedoms back completely. And now that's like gone from my record, which is nice. Because now I can like actually leave the country and it feels like I unlocked the rest of the map. It's like if you're playing a video game, you like unlock a little bit of a section, you're like, all right, now I can go to Hawaii. And now that I've unlocked the rest of the map, the rest of the world, I have such an excitement for like leaving, for actually going. And I think so many people don't have that because they haven't been locked in somewhere. They haven't had their like freedoms completely stripped from them to where they like understand how much freedom they actually fucking have. So I look back at that experience and I'm like, thank God, that experience is what got me to Hawaii. Like, that's why I'm here now, is because I went to jail when I was 19 and I wasn't allowed to leave for 4 years. That shit sucked. So now it's like I got all my freedoms back and I'm like, bro, let's get the fuck out of here. So you can never judge an experience too early.
It's crazy stuff, dude. How long were you in jail?
I was only in there for 3 days. 3 days. And that was enough.
Over the weekend, I'm guessing?
It was October 14th when I went in. Was it 14th or 15th? I think it was October 15th. Oh, shit. Yo!
Oh, so you just passed your anniversary.
That's my Hawaii-versary.
Oh.
That's also the day I moved to Hawaii.
Well, I'm saying it is freaking October right now, man.
I know. So, I think it was October 14th or 15th that I went in, and I was in there for 3 days.
Let's celebrate your day you went to jail.
No. Dude, it was so long ago. Like, it was so... I was 19 years old. I'm 27 now.
Oh, man, don't even...
So
Time goes by so quick, man.
I know. It's disgusting. It's gross. You want to know what's so funny, though?
Huh.
I'm going to just say this publicly because I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
So I paid for my withheld judgment, which is basically like getting my rights back and whatnot in Idaho. I paid for it back in February. Okay? I paid for that shit in February, and I was waiting for my motion, and they gave me my motion. And the date of my motion hearing was June 21st, and that's my ex-wife's birthday. And I thought that was so serendipitous and so funny. And I was like, really, motherfuckers? Like, they gave me my rights back. That was
meant to
this
be.
What?
You're free.
I know, I'm free. Dude, I'm free. And it feels good. It feels good to, like, get my rights back, get everything, like, done, off my record. It's like, all right, dude, let's get the fuck out of here. Because you and I are getting out of here, bro. We're going somewhere else. We're getting out of here.
Someday.
Someday soon. It's
Gotta
happening.
build an empire first.
Yeah. As long as we keep vlogging it, keep capturing it real time, stay consistent, we'll leave the old school videos up.
Yeah. Keep it going.
Moment of silence.
Huh?
Moment of silence.
Oh.
I'm drinking up coffee this time.
We've been going. Should we? I don't want us to run out of
Oh, yeah.
time. You know what I mean. We only have a amount of time on this program.
All right, yeah. Let's go over goals. What was because this is a reread. What was your goal? Oh yeah, yeah. What was your intellectual goal? Just halfway
I
through the
was
book.
halfway through my book. What? I'm tackling it. I think I'm still at like a quarter.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Maybe close to a third.
That's good.
I'm tackling it.
So we're gonna.
And
Okay.
I don't know. I was talking about recovering and then easing into my bulk. So I'm still. My legs are bad. So I'm able to bench, which is awesome.
Mhm.
But I'm just slowly going into it and recovering at the same time, working muscles that I can. So I'm just going to continue that goal.
Okay.
Recovery dash pre-bulk, introducing more calories.
Deal.
Yeah.
So your two goals halfway through your book, and then recovery. Start bulking, become a thick boy. Oh yeah, stroke that
Yeah.
microphone.
It's dusty. It's not as bad as you at the beginning, okay?
I like that shit. All right. My goals was halfway through.
What's yours?
Mine was to get halfway through my book. I got halfway through, and I stopped reading it yesterday just because I had to read something else. It's a little more positive because that one is it's a beautiful book. It's an amazing book, but I gotta do it in sections because holy shit, it's a little dark. But I'm loving it. I'm enjoying it. And then my other goal, I think, was breathing exercises and stretching. I've been doing my breathing, but not my stretching as much. So I need to stretch more. But for my intellectual goal that I want to accomplish this week, I want to get 3/4 through that book. Now that I've read something else that has brought me a little more joy, peace, and happiness, I want to start working my way to get 3/4 through that book. And then physical goal, my protein. I need to hit my protein intake. It's been really shitty, so I've got a protein drink with 100 grams in it in the fridge right now. I'm gonna pound
Yeah,
that.
dude, just drink the protein. It's not that hard.
I know,
Get at
dude.
it.
I'm gonna start resorting to drinking it. Start drinking it. I haven't been drinking it. I might as well just start drinking it because I'm eating meat, not as much as I'd like, but I might as well start substituting a lot of my like protein that I'm
Yeah, if
missing.
you can't get it in the meat, just drink it, dude. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna hit my protein intake. 200, at least 200 grams, so I can feel better in my workouts. All right. That
Sweet.
concludes 2 Minutes to Life, episode 10.
All right, and one last moment of silence for the homies.